All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Kathy Davis, and I'm the Communications Manager here at the Foundation for Sarcoidosis Research. I'd like to thank Susan D'Agostino for leading today's monthly meditation series, Focus on Pain Management. Susan is a certified mindfulness instructor. She has led a 4-part mindfulness and meditation series for FSR already, and she is currently focusing on her role as a 2021 patient navigator. Let me just share my screen really quick.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So
I just want to thank our event sponsor, Mallinckrodt Pharmaceuticals, for making this event possible. And with that, I will go ahead and just remind everybody that this event is being recorded, and we will allot some time at the end for questions, so you can go ahead and drop those in the chat. And with that, I will go ahead and hand it over to Susan.
hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name's Susan. So thank you for being here today, and thank you to FSR and Mallinckrodt for sponsoring us today. Like Kathy said, in the past, I've done a series for FSR. It's on their webpage. I encourage everybody to go and do the series. If you're new to meditation, it's preferable that you've done some mindfulness and meditation. Let me just turn my phone off so it doesn't ring while I'm on. It's preferable, but it's not absolutely necessary. Today, we're going to do really a guided visualization, and it'll be relatively easy, and everybody can just follow along. So the focus today, and a couple little housekeeping things I want to talk about. First of all, my name is Susan. I think I did mention that at the beginning. I am a certified mindfulness and meditation instructor, and I've been doing that for several years, although I've been practicing meditation for many, many years. I'm also a level 1 Qigong instructor, and I do some meditation with mindful movement, which is actually very helpful. And I'm a retired nurse, and I do have sarcoids. So I was diagnosed about 5 years ago. So I feel for some of the things you guys are probably going through also. I'm assuming that most of you here, if not all of you, are here because you do suffer with some kind of pain, and it may or may not be related to your sarcoidosis or possibly even another autoimmune disorder, or you're just here just for mindfulness. But for any of those reasons, it's fine. A couple of things while we're meditating, if at any point you should feel uncomfortable with your eyes closed, or you have any kind of emotions, that's usually normal. So I would just basically tell you, if you're uncomfortable, just open your eyes and basically listen to me if you start to feel any, it's common. People usually may feel some kind of emotion during meditation, especially if they're new to meditation. So today we're gonna, I put this on the link, and I think Mindy did. I put a great article called Mindfulness for Chronic Pain, a Comprehensive Guide. I had a lot of reading materials that I had, but a lot of them were very scientific in nature, doctors and research and things like that. And I didn't really want you guys to have that. This is such a great article, and I really hope you guys have all had the time to read it, because it really does talk about mindfulness, meditation, and chronic pain management in very easy terms, and I think in something we can really relate to. I was really just very impressed with this article, and I haven't been doing this, but I asked Mindy to post it to the link. So if you have any comments about it at the end, and there will be time at the end for questions also. So again, welcome everybody to our chronic pain management and how to use mindfulness and meditation. We'll be here for the next hour, and there'll be about 10 minutes at the end where we allow for some questions, and you guys can ask whatever you want. So first couple of things, I want everybody to be comfortable, be in a room where you either have your headphones or it's quiet, so that you're feeling comfortable. Maybe have some water next to you if you need it. You can either, sitting is usually a good position, in your chair, feet on the floor, hands on your lap, or you can be laying down too, although sometimes that's not always the best thing. People tend to fall asleep when they're doing meditation. We're going to talk a little bit about pain, chronic pain management, and how does mindfulness and meditation work. There's a concept in pain management where people who suffer from pain end up having something called pain catastrophizing. I always have a hard time with that word. It's pain catastrophizing or hypervigilance. So what happens is when you have pain, you tend to focus on your pain a lot. And so that can create a lot of things. It can create increased pain. It can create the psychological components of pain, which obviously are fear, anxiety, and then it creates a stress cycle. So if we don't learn how to manage our pain, we create this cycle that takes over. Not only is it the physical pain, but now we have the psychological component to pain also. So that's something that mindfulness really helps with. It can help in that stress cycle. And once we're able to manage the stress cycle, and I talk about this in my series, in one of the series, I talk about the nervous system. How do we do that with mindfulness and meditation, going from using the sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight, flight, or freeze reaction, to the parasympathetic, which is the system that slows things down, where you go into rest and digestion and just relaxation. So that's a great component that we can use in meditation. And that helps in that whole cycle of pain and stress. So one thing I want to really reinforce here, when we talk about mindfulness and meditation, this is just another tool in the toolbox for pain management. I'm not saying that you shouldn't continue your medications or be under a doctor's advice, but this is just another tool you could use. And oftentimes, as a nurse, I saw this, and especially as a mindfulness teacher, people that practice regularly mindfulness and meditation usually can break not only that stress cycle, that pain cycle, but sometimes they can even decrease the amount of meds they take. They learn, basically, like I said, tools that will help manage pain. And so this is another just component for you to use in pain management. There are a lot of components, obviously, your doctor, your meds. Qigong for me is a great component because it uses something called mindful movement. So you're not only doing mindfulness and meditation, but you're also doing movement, which also helps in pain management. Because sometimes what we do when we have pain, what do? We guard, we don't move, we get stiff. And that's the worst thing you can do. You want to have movement, mobility in the joints, sort of juicing the body kind of thing. And so Qigong is a great therapy. And I did do it in one of my series, and on the FSR website, there is a Qigong series too. So that's something I always tell people that they should maybe look into. But almost anything works, some walking, swimming is also a great therapy for people as we get older. It's non-weight bearing, anything that helps you move sometimes can cause pain, but in the end, it's like breaking that stress cycle, breaking that joint stiffness. In the end, it's going to help you. So those are also good things to do. So when we talk about mindfulness, and I'll just give you a little recap of what mindfulness, it's basically means paying attention in the present moment in a non-judgmental manner. So that means just being present and without judging the presence. It's sort of acceptance. And that's a very concept definition. A very, basic definition of what mindfulness is. So what we're going to do today is we're going to practice something called the body scan. And the body scan, and what we do with the body scan, it's a type of meditation. It's a meditation, but it's also a progressive muscle relaxation type meditation. And what this body scan meditation does is as you meditate, you'll feel your body become less and less stressed, more and more relaxed. This decreases the amount of cortisol that you're producing, which can cause stress. So the physical component of mindfulness and what we do is what we're trying to do all the time, using this mind-body concept. If you can control some of the things that are going on in the body through the mind, they work together. So we're trying to utilize physical and psychological components in pain management. And that's what we're going to do with body scan. And so as we go through the meditation, at some point, most people will close their eyes, and that's preferable. Again, like I said, If you don't feel comfortable with your eyes closed at some point while you're meditating, just open and listen to my voice. And try to, and I'll keep bringing you back to the breath, because the breath is the anchor of meditation. So you'll hear me talking a lot about that. So, well, there'll be, again, like I said, some room for discussion at the end. And what we're trying to do here, because there's a lot of science out there, pain, there's pathways in the nervous system for pain. So what we're going to try to do today, and I'm going to teach you in a very basic way, because this is something that has to be done, over and over, because mindfulness is much like exercise. If you don't exercise all the time, you're not going to lose weight, you're not going to get healthier. So mindfulness and meditation is something that you want to do as a practice over and over. And in doing so, you create new pathways in the brain to break the pain, and in the brain to break that pain and stress cycle. So I hope you guys enjoy this. It'll take about a half hour. And again, like I said, we'll have some time at the end for questions. So I'd like everybody to maybe get into a comfortable position, and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay. I'll give you all a minute here just to kind of get comfortable. So find a comfortable position. And when you're comfortable doing so, allow the eyes to gently close. I'd like you to start by turning into the posture of the body. So I'd like you to try and keep your spine straight. Shift your position in your chair until you feel comfortable. Feet on the ground. Your palms on your lap. It doesn't matter if they're up or down. And what I'd like you to do is just concentrate and bring an awareness to your breath for a moment. So I'd like you to just breathe in and breathe out. There's no particular way to do this. Do it as you normally do. Just breathe in and breathe out. As you breathe in, you may feel the coolness of the room. As you exhale out, allow your shoulders to drop. As you begin to feel the presence in this moment, in this room. So we'll start the body scan by turning into the crown of the head. I'd like you to bring awareness to the crown of the head. Just simply bring your awareness to the top of the head. Can you feel the skin on the scalp? The temperature of the air, your hair? There's no right or wrong. Just tune into whatever is physically present. You can drop down now into the forehead and the brow. Bring awareness to the brow, the forehead. Now drop down into your eyes. Bring an awareness to your eyes. If you can, close your eyes slowly. Just be present. Simply be present with whatever you're feeling right now. As you have your eyes closed, you may even notice some movement in the eyes. I'd like you now to bring an awareness to your nose, the tip of the nose, and then down to the upper lip. You may notice the air cooler as you breathe in, and as you breathe out, a little bit warmer. Just bring awareness to your breath right now. How does that feel as you breathe in and you breathe out? Continue down to the tip of the to the tip of the mouth. I'm sorry. The lips, the jaw, your tongue. You might notice the moisture. Notice any tension you may have in your jaw. Just let the jaw drop so that you're feeling a little relaxed. And I'd like you to just drop into the neck and throat. Notice the skin, any tension you might feel there. There's nothing really you should be experiencing. There's no right or wrong. Just tune into the awareness of the physical experience. Tune into the actual body. I'd like you to bring an awareness to the top of the shoulders and into your shoulder blades. This is an area where many of us carry a lot of stress, tension, burdens. So as you breathe in, you want to just notice how the shoulders are beginning to drop, relax, breathing in and breathing out. As you breathe in a calmness and exhale, just let it go. Feel the stress, the burdens, the weight removed from your shoulders. I'd like you to continue down into the forearms, the wrists, your hands. Maybe notice your hands, arms resting on your lap. Just notice how that feels. If at any point you feel any discomfort in any of these body parts, any pain, just bring yourself to the breath. Breathe in and let it go as you breathe out. Notice your hands again, where the contact may be on your lap. Notice how your hands are resting. Now I'd like you to come back up into the chest, rest here for a moment, turning into the body's breathing. You could notice the rising and the falling of the chest as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Notice how the abdomen and the stomach fall and rise. Just rest your awareness with the body. Drop down into the hips, the pelvis, the butt. You probably feel the point of contact where your body meets the chair or the cushion. Take a moment to feel these sensations. Now I'd like you to move into your thighs and your knees. Noticing again any contact you may have in your chair, your cushion, any stress. You might even notice, feel an awareness of the clothes on your body. Just bring an awareness to your experience to this present moment. Now drop into the calves, your shins, your ankles, to the lower part of your legs. Perhaps you feel a little bit of jitteriness. Just breathe in and breathe out, let it go. And feel the calmness coming through your body right now. Finally, move into your feet, going over the heel, the arch, the ball of the foot, the top of the foot. Tune into the points of contact that your feet may have on the floor. In this present moment, you should be feeling a sense of calm and awareness of the body, your present moment. Now, what I'd like you to do is to bring an awareness to any part of the body you might be feeling pain or discomfort. Slowly do that. If it becomes uncomfortable, open your eyes, but always come back to the breath. The mind may wander a little bit to thoughts, and that's okay. Just come back to the breath, breathing in and breathing out. Now, as you have an awareness of where this pain or discomfort may be, I'd like you to notice, how does that feel? What is the sensation? Is there a color to that pain or discomfort? Is there a temperature to the pain or discomfort? Is it warm? Is it cold? Is there a sound even? Is there a texture to your pain? So you have an image of what that pain or discomfort feels like. So what I'd like you to do now is take your awareness from this center of pain to a place where there is no pain, a pain-free zone. Create a new image of what a pain-free zone would feel like. What does a pain-free zone feel like for you? In this pain-free zone, have compassion, have love for yourself. This is something you deserve. If you begin to feel pain again, or that image of pain or discomfort should come back to you, spend a moment on it, just without judgment. Look at that image and breathe in and breathe out. Focus on the breath. On the exhale, let that pain image go. On the inhale, bring the image of what the pain-free zone feels like. Come to that moment, bringing compassion to yourself. Again, if you feel that pain or discomfort, don't judge it. Breathe in calm. Exhale, let it go. Shift from the pain zone to the pain-free zone, constantly bringing yourself to that image of what a life without pain would feel like. As we do this, we're creating pathways in our brain, shifting from pain to pain-free. Feel this pain-free now in this moment. Bring yourself back to the breath, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out, letting it go on the exhale. If you're feeling discomfort, bring yourself to that pain-free zone. And bring that image to your mind, that pain-free zone. Notice how that zone feels compared to your pain image. How does it feel differently? What is the sensation? What is the color? What is the temperature? Is there a sound? Is there a texture? How is it different? If you're having any discomfort, it's okay to shift your position. If your mind begins to wander, bring yourself back to the breath, breathing in and breathing out. As you exhale, let it go. Tune into your whole body now, from head to toe. You may be able to even feel the breath energy as it moves through the body. You get a sense of the entire outline or posture of the body as it rests. Your body is resting comfortable, without pain, breathing in calm, exhaling stress, pain, discomfort. If you have pain or discomfort, bring back that image of the pain-free zone. Bring an awareness to that part of the body without pain, how it feels different from the beginning of the practice. The pain may not be gone, but it should be lessened. It should feel different. As we create those pathways in the brain of bringing awareness to our pain, but in a different state, without stress, without fear, without anxiety. Breathing in calm. Exhaling all fears, anxieties, discomforts. Breathe in calm. Exhale fear, discomfort, anxieties. Bring an awareness to how the body feels. You may want to just do a body scan in your head of how your body is relaxed from the crown of the head all the way to the bottom of your feet. If there's any particular area that you feel not relaxed, Just drop your shoulders and breathe in, calm, and let go. Exhale anxiety or any discomfort. Bring in that image of the pain-free zone whenever you need it. Notice how that pain-free zone may even bring a smile to your face, may make you drop your shoulders, may make you feel more relaxed. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale and exhale. As you breathe in, you'll notice a pause at the end of the exhale. And then as you exhale, you again notice that pause at the exhale. So as you breathe in slowly, and as you breathe out, let it go. What is this sense of well-being that you have right now? I'm going to count to 10, and we're going to begin to awaken and be aware slowly. I'm going to count backwards. So 10, 9, continue to breathe in and breathe out. 8, 7, 6. At this point, you may feel like you need to take a deep breath, breathing in and breathing out. 5, 4, 3. You might want to start wiggling your toes and your fingers now. 2 and 1. You can open your eyes slowly whenever you're ready. You don't have to open them right now. As you open your eyes, you notice the sense of well-being, the awareness, the calm that you may feel. This is a practice that you should do regularly. It will help create those pathways and teach you how to manage stress and break that pain stress cycle. And learn how to judge your pain without judgment, basically, to notice your pain without judgment. So as you awaken and open your eyes, you have a sense of well-being. Possibly you may even want to smile. You might feel really good. You might feel like, wow, I really would like to feel this way more. Realizing that there are steps you can do to help you. And this is a very basic body scan meditation where we bring this awareness of pain. Pain is something that most of us have, and you know, oftentimes we don't even look at pain. We just have pain and we say, oh, I'm having pain, and you take a pill, or you start that stress cycle of being angry, depressed, having anxiety. And there are small steps that we can do to help in pain, along with medical management, like I was saying, mindfulness, meditation, being present to pain without judgment, being aware of pain, noticing the little things that you could do, doing a body meditation such as this one, visualization, Qigong, Tai Chi, swimming. As we become aware that pain is something that we have, and we may have it for a while or even for life, hopefully not, but that there are tools that you can use in your daily life to manage and possibly decrease the pain, or even the amount of medications you're taking. But I think one of the biggest things that we do when we learn to become aware of pain is we become aware of how it affects us psychologically too. It's not just the physical pain. We realize that along with pain comes depressions, fears, anxieties, and so many other things. So I keep saying this over and over. We need to break that stress cycle in order to manage pain. And I think that's something that is out there in the scientific literature, something maybe our doctors don't talk about too much. Unless if you're in therapy, the therapist usually will talk to you about that. And that's another method also for pain management, is therapy. So again, utilize all the therapies you have at your disposal to try to break some of this cycle. So if anybody wants to ask any questions, you can put it in the chat or you can ask live if you want. You can turn your video on. I'd like to thank you all for being here today and participating. I think this is a very important subject, pain management, for all of us with sarcoidosis, because I think a lot of us have a lot of issues with pain, whether it's breathing, joints, or other things that are going on. We can't focus in on pain and get better. If we're in pain all the time, you're not going to be able to work towards having a little bit of a healthier lifestyle. So it's one of the things that we can work on and work with to help us manage our lives. I really recommend all of you read that article. I won't go into some of the science of it, but it's such a great article. It talks a lot about how this breaking that stress cycle helps in pain management. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask? Got to take yourself up to turn your video on, Mark. There you go. Take yourself off mute. Kathy, can you do it, or he? Oh,
I just unmuted.
Okay. Go ahead.
Kathy, I mean, Susan, I have a question for you. I'm Mark from Boston, and my question to you is this: are there any good reads for mindfulness? A friend of mine recommended How to Tame an Elephant.
It's probably How to Tame the Monkey Mind. First of all, I can tell your Boston accent right away.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. Go park the car.
That's right. Yeah.
Anyways,
when I said my name, Mark?
Mark, right away. Anyways, in Boston, actually, the founder of Western mindfulness is John Kabat-Zinn, and he's at UMass. And,
wow.
Yeah.
Boston or Amherst?
He's in Boston, I believe.
Okay.
Anyways, you could look his name up, because Boston is really the epicenter for mindfulness. So you're in a great city.
That's great. We also have good sarcoidosis doctors here as well.
Yeah, Insight Meditation is there. In Barre, do you know where that is? Barre, Mass? Barre?
Barron, Mass. Yeah, it's quite a ways from me.
Okay, but they're in Boston. Look up the name John Kabat-Zinn, Z-I-N-N. He is the father of Western mindfulness, brought it to the United States in the 1970s. And if you can get into an MBSR course, mindfulness-based stress reduction, it's an 8-week course. It's MBSR, like Mary, Boy, Susan, Ralph. It's mindfulness-based stress reduction, and I'm sure in Boston it's offered.
Okay. What's his name again? The father of
John Kabat-Zinn, Z-I-N-N. Yeah, and so that's, oftentimes a way that most people will start with mindfulness. They'll take an MBSR course. That was actually the way I started.
Really?
Although I had done some TM way back in the 80s, whatever, but
Sure.
I really got into mindfulness and meditation after I took an MBSR course here at the University of Miami, taught by somebody who was an instructor from Boston.
Wow.
Because he runs the course in Boston, and then instructors are all through the nation, and they get certified and they teach in many parts of the country. So,
Okay.
I would look into that. Boston, there should be absolutely no problem finding MBSR.
Is there a book you could recommend?
Full Catastrophe Living is one he wrote, which is great. It's a good book.
One Full Catastrophe Living.
Yeah. There's a website called Sounds True, SOUNDS True, soundstrue.com. You could go on there. There's tons of stuff. And then there's an app called Insight, INSIGHT Timer, which is an app that has a lot of meditations also for beginners or more advanced. So those are
Insight
Timer.
Okay.
Yeah, you can download that on your phone. So there's a lot of good resources out there. I mean, like I said, I did a 4-part series. I would definitely recommend that if you can get on the FSR page and do it, because it's based on MBSR totally. And because I did that, and I also got certified. So you want to, learn about how mindfulness, being a nurse, I want to teach people why it works, the science behind it. And John Kabat-Zinn does it too. So there's a science and a reason why you create these new pathways in the brain the more you do meditation, and it does help in many aspects, both physically and psychologically. But oftentimes when you're diagnosed with a chronic disease, that's what happens. The psychological component, when you're first diagnosed, it's the physical. Oh, you're freaked out, this, that, you got to get good doctors. But eventually it's the psychological component that takes over. Stress, fears, anxieties. And then that's going to hinder your physical being, your well-being. So if you can break that cycle, and I'm always talking about breaking that stress cycle, it all goes hand in hand. That's why it's called the mind-body connection. It works together. The mind and the body work together. They're not two separate beings. And, when you go to the doctor, he's going to work on the body, the physical part. That's their job, he or she. They're going to tell you, you got to take this medication, you got to have a CAT scan, you got to do this, this, and that. And it'll be a rare provider that will talk to you about this mind-body connection. But it's everything. It really is. And even with my own sarcoid, when I was diagnosed 5 years ago, nobody talked to me about it. And I had, and I had years and years of meditation. And still, I was like totally, I mean, I had major anxiety. I mean, I had a lot of the things that I never thought I would have, and I had them all. And it took me, I would say, a good 2 years to break that cycle.
I suffer from neurosarcoidosis. I lost my ability to walk 4 years ago. And I try meditating, but my body has spasms all the time, and it, interferes with a solid meditation. Yeah.
And that's one of the things I do in body scan. If you notice, you don't want to, you want to bring awareness to that. You don't want to ignore it. It's there. You can't ignore it. So bring an awareness to it, and then substitute the thought. Okay, you had that spasm, you brought an awareness, and then you substitute.
Right.
And then if it comes back, you go back into it, you without judgment, without saying, oh, I got this thing again. I can't believe it. Because that's just creating that stress cycle. You just want to go, okay, my leg is twitching. And that's it. Let it go with that. It's an acceptance of it. My leg is twitching. And then you go back into that pain-free zone. Maybe the pain-free zone for you looks like it's not twitching. And
Right.
I can almost guarantee, I don't work with you, one-on-one, but a lot of times when I work with clients, they say, wow, I didn't have pain for 15 minutes. And then after like a month of meditation, they say, wow, I'm going a whole half hour. So it's like everything. It's like a practice. You have to continue to do it all the time so that you see the results. It's much like a diet. You could be on diet for years. I mean, it took me like 3 years to lose 50 pounds after I was on prednisone. So, but
I
it
know
was the
the feeling.
persistence of it.
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
I was up to 251 pounds, and I'm 5'8". Well, 5'8.5". And it took me a year, but I'm down to 206 right now.
Yeah.
The
So
prednisone it's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah, it is the persistence of what you do. It's not just a one-time deal. And that's, as Americans, that's what we think, everything is going to happen fast. Well, it's
Sure.
not, you gotta, okay. Yeah, it's the persistence. Kathy, any other questions out there?
Thank you so much, Susan and Mark, for
Very
your
well.
questions. We do have a few more minutes if anybody else had any other questions they'd like to ask, whether or not it's in the chat or if they'd like to unmute themselves on video.
Or even comments. You don't have to have a question. Is there anybody here that was new to meditation? How did it feel for them? No one wants to share. That's also okay. Was there any questions? Go ahead.
I'd like to know, Susan, as someone newer to this, when you're in the practice of mindfulness, if you find your mind wandering a lot about other things, how do you get back to focus?
And that's a great question. And when you're a beginning mind meditator, the mind always wanders. Even if you've been doing meditation for 100 years, that's the nature of the mind. When the mind no longer wanders, even the Dalai Lama will say, oh, my mind wandered, because that's the nature of the brain. That's what it's supposed to do. The thing is and that's why they call the breath the anchor. When you're a beginning meditator, the breath is always the anchor. You come back to the breath. And that's why through the body meditation, several times I'll say, well, if you have discomfort or if you're feeling, strange, open your eyes, but come back to the breath. So you want to focus back on the inhale and the exhale. The more you do it, the less the mind will wander, although the mind always wanders, depending on your day and what's going on. And, if you end up having some discomfort in a meditation, or, your dog barks or whatever, the mind will go there, and that's okay. That's the premise of mindfulness, that everything is okay. Don't bring judgment to it. Just bring an awareness to it. So like you said, I'm meditating now. If the mind's always wondering, then there's maybe something else going on. There should be some seconds of coming back to the breath and being able to, just taking some deep breaths in and out slowly. You're going to notice when you take a deep breath, and I only talked about this once when we were in the mindfulness thing. When you breathe in, and you could do this with me, you breathe in, normally there's a pause right at the end, right? And then you exhale and there's a pause. We don't even notice that in our normal breath, but it's called the pause. So as you begin to meditate and more, it becomes longer. And there's some meditations I do, and that might be one I do in the future, where you actually count, because you activate that parasympathetic nervous system, which is your calm part of the nervous system, the longer you can exhale out. So if you inhale in, your normal is maybe 3-4 seconds, whatever, you go 1, 2, 3, you hold it, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you exhale 5. Maybe you go 3, 4, 5 or 4, 6, 8. There's a very famous meditation practice called the 4, 6, 8. You breathe in 4, you hold 6, you exhale 8. that will totally, the more you can do that, it's called the 4-6-8. The more you can do that, the more you're activating that parasympathetic nervous system and breaking that stress cycle. And it's a true physiological response that's happening. Now, it takes time to do that practice. And then some people that do it long enough do it breathing normally. That's the one they are. They're really high level meditators. I don't do that because it's not that natural to me, but you really can notice in the 4-6-8 practice how much your body relaxes if you do it, consistently. So yeah, the breath is the anchor always in beginning meditation. Now there are other types of meditation that you can do, or you have focused awareness, whatever you do it with a candle or something else or music. But, at the beginning, it's always the breath is the anchor for beginning meditation.
Good. That makes total sense. And I think now I'll definitely be more aware of my breath.
Okay, somebody's
have-
commenting on Sharon Salzberg, who I love. Your mind, not that your mind. Yes, exactly. It's awareness. That's Susan. That's exactly right. Sharon Salzberg she's actually a Buddhist, and she also with John Kabat-Zinn and Joseph Goldstein and a couple other people brought this whole concept of mindfulness and actually Western Buddhism to the United States. And Sharon lives in New York, and I've seen her several times. I've gone to several of her lectures. She was actually here at the University of Miami 2 years ago, and she's amazing. But it's not that your mind wanders, is that you're now aware that the mind wanders, because the mind wanders. But Sharon Salzberg is known for one thing. I mean, she's known for many things, but her thing is something called metta, loving kindness. She does a meditation that's called metta, M-E-T-T-A, and it's a loving kindness meditation that is probably one of the most beautiful meditations. If you ever want to look into that loving kindness meditation, Susan, if you know Sharon Salzberg, you probably know that, but it's almost a meditation that brings you to tears every time, especially when you're new. Loving kindness meditation is a beautiful meditation. But yeah, that's a great comment. You're right. Thank you for that comment.
Very good. Do we have any other last minute questions? We have just a couple minutes left here.
You know what I want to ask, and Kathy, I don't know if you guys have that ability, or you could ask Mindy or whatever, because she usually does that. We've done the 4-part series. We concentrated this time on pain because somebody asked last time. And I think the other one was anxiety. I can't even remember. I know I've done 6 now. If there's a particular topic that somebody wants me to talk about, because I always try to talk about something or a particular issue that somebody may have with dealing with their sarcoid, be it physical or mental, we can incorporate that into a mindfulness meditation. And that's kind of what I did with the body scan today, and bringing pain to awareness. So if there's anything anybody wants, you could either email Kathy or Mindy later and let them know, or else I'll just pick a topic for next month. But I'd rather somebody say what that they might want. Or maybe, Kathy, I don't know if that's possible, or maybe you, Mindy, could talk about it, put out a Survey Monkey and see what people's interests are. Yeah.
That's a good idea. We should do a poll and see if there's any particular subject. I just dropped mine and Mindy's email in the chat. So if you do have any topics that come to mind after this, just go ahead and copy and save those right now. But yeah, we will follow up with an email. This session was recorded, so it will be available on our YouTube and website to view later. And, again, just wanted to extend appreciation to Susan for leading us through this wonderful practice today. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us and for supporting the Foundation for Sarcoidosis Research.
Thank you, Kathy, and everybody. Thank you for being here, and thank you for allowing me to meditate with you. And kind of walk you through this process. I think that the thing of importance that I do say is, for pain management, just like a drug, if you were to take a drug, it might work that hour, that day, but it's not going to work the next day or the day after. So it's something that you really want to do over and over. My voice sometimes clicks with people, sometimes it doesn't. There's a lot of people I can't meditate with either. But, meditation is a practice that you should really be in sync with the person that's giving it to it. If I'm not the person, go on Insight Timer. There's hundreds of teachers out there. Go on Sounds True. You'll see a lot of great educational stuff. I love, that we're doing this on Zoom, but hopefully once COVID's over, I used to do classes in the community, in the hospitals, and in different centers. I think, and there's actually research coming out now about this, about, meditating with a group of people. There's something to it, being live, being in a group. And for me as a nurse, I like to feel, the people in the room, and oftentimes people are, they're there in the room, they're going to express themselves better. Hopefully that's something in the future that all of us can get back to, maybe find your mindfulness group out in your community, whether you go to a gym or the school or the hospital. I mean, it was everywhere. When I was teaching before COVID, we did it in the hospitals, we did it in community centers. We did it in parks. I used to teach Qigong mindful movement in a park. So easy. I like that comment. Yeah. You can do it anywhere. You can do this anywhere at any time. Susan just gave a great comment about it's so easy, you can do anywhere. And it is easy. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. The one thing I do have to say at the beginning, when people begin to meditate, it often, two things will often happen. You'll have emotional kind of reactions. Some people, it's all related to the stress response. When you begin to meditate, you become less stressed. You have a drop of chemicals, cortisol, epinephrine that is happening. And oftentimes that can bring emotional responses like crying. A lot of times people will cry when they at the first time they meditate, or second or third, and eventually that gets better. So don't let some of those things, hinder you from trying again. Sometimes it'll actually bring physical responses. Some people will say, oh my God, my hand was twitching. I felt my eyes twitching. And all kinds of physical responses happen. When I got certified, this is just a quick little story. When I got certified, I think it was like 5 years ago, I was in Arizona in a training in Sedona, which is like an amazing place. If you haven't been there, I'd definitely recommend it. I was in Sedona and I had just had surgery on my right eye. I had an ocular tumor from sarcoid. What else? And I had been having horrendous pain for like 2 years. And I really debated, but I had done all the prerequisites for my certification and all that. And I said, well, I'm going. So I went out to Sedona. I went alone and I said, this is going to be a major, retreat thing for me. And I went out there and I will never forget this. I think it was, I don't remember what day it was, maybe the second or third day I was there. The teacher was giving a meditation session, and I had chronic eye pain for a year. And for the first time, I did not have eye pain. For 3 days, I did not have eye pain because the meditation was so, it was so intense. It was 8 hours every day, meditating on and off. It was, it was an intense course to get certified. But I didn't have pain for 3 days. And my pain is much less now. I don't have as much pain as I used to, but that was like at the height of my pain cycle. And I really believe that was because I was breaking that stress cycle and that physiological cycle continuously. Not that you could live like that. Unless I became a Buddhist monk or something, which I'm not, but it was powerful. And I tell this story and sometimes I can't even believe it. So, and I'm not just saying that, but it was real. And I have pain now every once in a while, but that it broke that cycle. And I remember telling the instructor that, and they were just like, oh yeah, but for me, it was like mind blowing. But since they hear it all the time from people, and they're like, oh yeah, it happens all the time. And I was like, wow, well, I could live my life meditating 8 hours a day, but even for me, that's boring. But anyways, and I think some of you would feel that not if you meditated 8 hours a day, but meditation, 15, 20 minutes a day, 4 or 5 times a week, you'll have tremendous benefits from it.
Hi, Susan.
Yeah, Mark.
I just have a quick question. What type of sarcoidosis do you have?
Well, it started out as ocular, and then it went to pulmonary, and now I have some granulomas in my liver and spleen, although those haven't caused any problems, but I've had some pulmonary issues too.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think like everybody that has sarc, it's it's I don't know. I've not met anybody with sarcoidosis that does not have extra from beyond, or they have some other autoimmune disorder that goes with it, whether it's fibromyalgia or rheumatoid arthritis or whatever, Crohn's, or so it really is a strange disease. And speaking from my nursing perspective, as a nurse, I saw sarcoidosis maybe in my 35-year career 3 times. 3 times.
Wow.
And I worked ICU. I worked on a respiratory unit for years. So that's how rare it really is. I think I saw it maybe 3 times in my life. And when I was diagnosed 5 or 6 years ago, I was still working in a hospital. And my experience with sarcoidosis in a hospital was they all died, which is a terrible experience, obviously. So when I got diagnosed with it, I thought, oh my God, I'm going to die, because I never saw a sarcoidosis patient that survived.
Well, funny story.
I was terrified. So I'm so happy that with FSR now,
right,
we have this community, and you see, okay, yes, we're not going to die. We might get this or that or whatever. But with an organization like the Foundation for Sarcoid Research, that's really pushing so hard to find a treatment or find modalities that'll help us, it's a big happy.
I'll tell you a quick story if I can. When this first happened to me, they said I had neurosarcoidosis, and they sent me up to get an MRI. And the transporter, she asked me, she said, do you mind if I ask you what's wrong? I said, no, I have sarcoidosis. And the first thing she says to me is, oh, Bernie Mac died from that. And I'm like, oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's a scary thing. And that's one of the things that we all deal with when we're first diagnosed. You've never known anybody who had it. No. Or if you did, and you've worked in healthcare, you had these kinds of experiences. And, so FSR, and that's why I became a navigator, and I started doing this series. It's an amazing organization. I just can't say enough. And I think I go on Facebook all the time, and Kathy, I think I told Mindy and Mary this, there's a sarcoid for beginners on there, sarcoidosis for beginners. Somebody opened that page, and everybody that goes on there doesn't have a clue what sarcoidosis is. And I go on there like at least once or twice a week, and I plug in FSR. You got to go to the FSR webpage. They have all the information you need. And just doing that, which doesn't take me 5 minutes, whatever, I'm hoping I'm helping navigate some people there. But wow, look, Aura says the same thing. First thing I heard, Bernie Mac. So that is a great webpage, sarcoidosis for beginners. It's not great because everybody on there is clueless, right? And they're trying to get advice from other clueless people, which isn't the best idea. So I think, I think the moderator on there, she's gotten really good. She talks about FSR all the time too. So
and
that's where we need to.
For beginners.
Yeah, on Facebook.
Okay, all right, I'm going to check it out.
It's a little scary, but I think we're a little more knowledgeable. Everybody that comes on these FSR webinars, I think in their own way can get out there and And even if you help one person, oh my God, you know, it's one person that's not gonna experience what we experience.
I'm very fortunate that as of now, I don't have it in any other organs. It's in my spine.
Yeah, neuro's bad enough.
But when I say it's in my spine, it's actually inside the spine. And there hasn't been a case like that in
Wow.
like
Yeah,
30 years.
well, neurosarcoidosis in itself is pretty rare.
Yeah, yeah. My third grade teacher said I'd never be famous, and ta-da, you know.
You're famous. Well, Kathy, thank you for the opportunity. I mean, this is my first time I've met Kathy, so it was great to meet you. She was a great moderator, and so thank you.
Yes,
So,
thank you.
a lot of
Kathy.
fun, and I hope to see you guys next month.
Sounds good.
All righty. Have a
Thank
great day, everybody. And again, thank you for allowing me to participate in this meditation with you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye all. Bye.